Do I actually remember my settings? Did I? Oh, okay, give me a second. I need to text the Discord. I didn't actually expect that to work on my first try. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. You would think testing would be a good idea, but that's for nerds. Um, where's my dang ping roll? Okay, and we're back. Oh, I forgot to turn on the music. I really appreciate that, Rhythm Box. I really appreciate you working with me here. Can you like what? Okay, give me a second. For some reason the music's not working. So something Maul, unfortunately you are not officially first. Yeah, the music is here. Okay, hold on a second. Literally the music is right here. Literally. Wow. Okay, give me one second. This is gonna look terrible, but I need to. What does this mean? I'm legitimately confused. Out of all the things that could break, that is probably the weirdest. Do it, Explore. Also, hello, Egg and Jim Bro. Oh, really? Do you, Jim Bro? Congrats. So what does this mean? What does this little icon mean? Okay, hold on a second. First things first, let's go over to this and see if I can just play this normally. The different music. Okay, Rhythm Box just isn't working in general. Sure. Okay, so the files aren't broken, Rhythm Box is broken. That is a very weird thing to go wrong. Hello, local. Anywho, congrats, Jimbo. Okay, give me a second. The bot might break. I'm gonna try updating something. Because maybe it's just an out of date version. Because I have done some weird updates in a weird order. Yeah, I mean, I would think, between the two of you, I know who my money is on for who knows more. Your current relationship status, right? Seems pretty obvious to me. I got a canker sore. I got two canker sores. That's annoying. Okay. Can you work, Mr. Computer? I'm gonna have some of my ginger tea and try and. I've taken a break from chess. Ah, so that's how you got a girlfriend. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that explains everything. Should have led with that. I got big plays for the summer. Well, first, I'm free from the 12 years of educational prison based, but also I got two big chess tournaments to play in. One of them is the World Open, a 4-day tournament, 9 rounds. She thinks chess is attractive anyways. Okay, now you're definitely lying. She thinks it makes me a genius or something. Okay, yeah, no, no, no. Okay, now I know you're lying. Before, I was willing to give you the benefit of the doubt. It's just over now. Okay. So, Now, let's see if you want to work now. Nope, still not working. Fantastic. Okay, so we're just not going to have music today. I will bug fix that later. I have no idea what went wrong there, so I'm just going to move the chat up and make my webcam and little captions bigger to make it look like it's intentional. And we're not going to tell anyone that we ever had music to begin with. Alright? Who needs music when you have my voice? I prefer music. I have been told that I like listening to myself talk, but still, even that being the case, you should play Skibidi Toilet. I definitely should. Because I need to catch up. I am like I haven't checked up on the Skibidi Toilet lore in like a month. It's actually been closer to 2. Okay, see, there we go. So now we're just going to pretend that music was never an option and that this was always my stream setup. And if anyone asks, okay, hold on a second. Now, one moment. Yeah. Okay, so don't ask, don't tell. Boom. Ooh. It's your choice, Jim Bro. I just hope you know for the record I'm only making fun of you. Because it's funny. Erasmus Plus project in Italy, and I met an Estonian girl there. Ooh, that's super cool. Hello, Tin. You're deaf, so there's no need for music for real. No, I'm going to be listening to music. Just because y'all have to suffer through agonizing silence doesn't mean I have to suffer through agonizing silence. I don't think I understand how this works. Opinion on baby lasagna? Should have won. Fantastic. Least hot take of all time. How to join the queue? You type !join in chat and hope that my bot decides to work today. You're visiting her in a month or 2? Oh, super cool. That's just a long distance thing. Well, best of luck. And it worked. Oh, no technical issues today. Okay. Sorry, something in my eye. Yeah, Drake got murdered. I would think we all knew that Drake was that Kendrick was the favorite, but I don't think anyone expected it to be that bad. Ginger tea. Okay. So, I'm going to start my rated games, which is probably a terrible idea. I haven't been playing good chess in like 3 months. If you're talking about what I think you're talking about, Jim Bro, no. I'm aware that exists. Also, thank you, Hate, for the follow. Hatem. Hatem. I probably shouldn't call you Hate. That's probably mean. I've been here so long, not gonna lie, joined the queue and then dipped. Oh no. I really don't care. That's my real name. Well, I didn't know if it was Hatem or something, and like the M was part of the first name, and I don't know how it's pronounced. I know people with last names that look like they're pronounced a certain way, but aren't pronounced that way at all, and it leads to a lot of confusion. So I was just realizing that was probably a dumb assumption, but dumb assumptions are the best assumptions, so we're chilling. So it is Hatem. See, there you go. That was my point. Oh yeah, last night instead of studying for final exams, I watched the Minions movie. I'm so sorry. Oh yeah. The Minions movie has a lot of weird junk in it. It's a bizarre It's a bizarre piece of media. It really is. I think this is the move. I don't particularly care for it. But, I mean, that's, you know, film snob take. It's a really good move on his part. Did you know that I am utterly insane? I wasn't sure about the utter part, but in general, I was guessing in that direction. I mean, if you're paying attention, if I remember correctly, there is a mannequin in the background of one of the scenes that uses the same model as Lucy Wilde from Despicable Me 2. Don't ask me why I remember that. You're very welcome, Jimbo. At least if memory serves. I can't decide if I love my position or if I hate my position. It's very bizarre. Every decade has a yellow character to represent them. 1970s was always the yellow bird from Charlie Brown. 1980s was Pac-Man. 1990s was Bart Simpson. 2000s was SpongeBob. And 2010s were Minions. I can't say that I am on board with this theory, but it definitely is a theory. That there definitely is a theory happening. This position kind of hurts my brain. Yeah, that's how I'm feeling about it too. Is this a little too optimistic? I don't think it is. It's not obvious to me what he does. It's not super clear to me what his next move is. Okay. Did I miss something, or is this just a piece? I mean, I'll just continue taking free stuff while I have it. I think... that's actually... I think Queen takes is the play here. I think Queen takes. Okay, fair enough. Right now, my goal is just to get pieces off the board. Even if I end up giving up a pawn or two to do so, it's ultimately worth it. Because of how much material advantage I have. I'm going to play this. Because I want to play like a rook d6 or something, but I can't currently. And who's winning? Oh, I wonder. 1990s or 2000s could be Pikachu too. I would say 90s is... see, here's the thing. The great flaw in your theory is the fact that all of those yellow characters kind of represent different... what's the word I'm looking for? Different niches, like different people. Like, not... they weren't universal, right? Show this red. Oh, Pizza Planet. Funny Pixar reference. This is going very nicely. Here. W sure. Also hello. Hello, Gone. Do I take with rook or do I take with bishop? I think I take with rook. Okay. Well, I mean, that's a fair place to resign. This position is very hard to win for black. I don't necessarily think so. It's kind of just a piece. So I played a rapid tournament yesterday, and I did absolutely terrible. However, it did warm me up a little bit. Jim Bro, I'm going to give that a true. Rapid over the board? Yeah. 10 plus 5. Doesn't matter if you're 2000, you're 2200, and heart, and the only thing that matters. Exactly. Finally, somebody gets it. Okay, I think it's Queen C2, then Knight BD2. Usually it transposes, so I'm not the most concerned. You increment. Man, over the board chess is significantly better with increment. Online, it's not as necessary as can... But you really do need increment over the board. It really changes things dramatically. So this is if I remember correctly, this is an inaccurate move order. Because it puts me a tempo up on the normal way of playing this position. Is this where I play C5? Or is this a knight E5 position? I get them mixed up. I could go either way, honestly. Should I talk to a therapist? I mean, I would recommend it. I don't believe they actually do anything. Well, they're not magic. They're just people who have experience giving good advice on mental health practices, while also helping deal with any outstanding issues that are a little more on the extreme end. It's not magic, but it is helpful in my experience. And plus, it depends so much on the individual therapist that it's very difficult to make any sort of sweeping statement about therapy in general. So he's not actually threatening C5 yet. Because takes comes with tempo on the queen currently. So I can just like move the bishop or something. Question is where? See, this position is definitely slightly better for me, but it requires a lot of accuracy in order to hold the advantage. I don't think you've mentioned. Delay is the worst thing invented in chess. I hate it. You should. That's a base take. Something along those lines, yeah. Americans are weirdly a fan of delay in chess. Is that true? Is that an actual fact? I don't know because I've never really played chess in the US. Chess for me has always been a only since I've moved sort of sport. C5 is very often a good move here, but I just can't decide if it's a good move right now yet. I think I'm going to go... here. I enjoy these positions, but to me they've always felt really bizarre to play. And that's kind of why I like them, to be honest. Chess is the best sport. The only one where you get to sit down for 8 hours and sweat because you're losing. I feel like there should be more sports that have that. I don't know how chess unique that is. If he takes... What? Ugh. Is that a move? Chad, is that a move? There is no way, man. There's no way that's a good idea. You just gave me a formal invitation into the light squares. Like, what if I play bishop d6 here? Is that stupid? Might be stupid. Some of the big tournaments in the USA are pricey, but offer large monetary rewards. Like entering under 1,600 in the World Open costs $300 for entry fee, but you get 10,000 bucks plus at first if you get first no ties. Sheesh. So this was my point, right? This was my argument. Like, hey, funny material. Which, what is this? In exchange for a pawn? And also the better dark light squared bishop? It's not bad. Antians, long time no see. How you been? Make me happy when skies are gray. Why are we singing You Are My Sunshine? I'm not complaining. Don't get me wrong. Okay. Same. I don't know. I'm 1750 FIDE, but I haven't played standard long, and I'm 1750 chess.com blitz and 1700 FIDE blitz. Chess.com blitz is really similar to right now to FIDE. I'm not sure. I don't know. Maybe it is, but I'm sensing elevated levels of cap. How do I do this? This is a very weird position. I'm not complaining. Also, I switched to Arch. My friends stopped talking to me. What were you on before? Also, having friends, that was your first mistake. Debian? Just like raw Debian? Based. Why'd you switch to Arch then? Debian is probably better than Arch. As an Arch user. I'm also a Debian user, to be fair. I use both. Because I like them both. I use them both for different things. I use my time. I keep ending up with too much time. Rushing is my biggest problem. Yeah. I find learning positional chess is helpful for that because it makes it very easy to look for things and try and spend time. I wanted the new GNOME. Ah, well, you could have just compiled it yourself on Debian. Save yourself some trouble. But I mean, if you want the newest something, then Arch will give it to you. The monkey's paw will curl, you know what I mean? Bro, I ain't doing that. I'm just saying. It's technically an option. You are not... I don't think that's what working class means, Norwegian. I hate to break your proletariat chic vibe you got going here, but not sure that's what working class means. I kind of want to play this. Is this stupid? Knight takes, queen takes. So, I mean, it's asking for trouble a little bit, but yeah, that's my style, so. I literally do not have Snapchat. I do not, I have never made a Snapchat account. I do not have a Snap. I can make a Snap, but. Okay, now this is where I was trying to cook. I was trying to justify rook e8 here. Because I was trying to say, like, okay, rook e8 check, king h7, queen d3, queen d3, check, maybe queen c2, I wasn't sure. And then, like, g6, and then rook e1. Really, really optimistic, but also super cool. I don't think it works, though, because he could just take the rook. I'm not threatening anything meaningful. Okay. Well, I tried. 100 kilograms and body weight 69. That's impressive. Just get my pieces out. Yeah. No. Also, if you don't mind us asking, Norwegian, what job did you get? Don't mean to pry, but I assume you would only bring it up if you wanted to talk about it. You're not helping your case here. I see. He doesn't want to lose. Cringe. I'll go after you finish this, make a Snapchat so I can send you my pump pics from the gym. Maybe. I will consider it. Well, when I do, how am I supposed to contact you? I resign as black? I would not. There is still a significant amount of chess to be played here. Way more than can justify a resignation. Now, this move I really don't care for. I thought... Can't I? This looks suspicious. Maybe there's nothing. Is there nothing? It's really... You're really just giving me a lot of activity here. I don't know. See, my heart tells me to, like, retreat the queen. And play for some sort of goofy checkmate. The problem is something like this. Queen d5, and then check. King here, I run out of checks. Or even check here, same problem. I run out of checks immediately. No, I can't check there, because the queen's guarding. See what I mean? Ugh. Hard to explain. It's in a retail store, but the kind that sells everything from groceries to clothes to garden tools to tech. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what those stores are called, but I think I know what you're talking about. I've really played this terribly. Just really, really awful. Because now he's got, what, three pawns for the exchange? Alco, your time's a bit terrible. Yeah, I am aware, I'm aware. Now, whether or not I do something about it's a different question entirely, but... So, do I want to trade rooks here? I'm going to say yes. Because king activity is huge for me in this position. And so I think it's something I should be playing around very intentionally. So, listen, we have to keep everything on dark squares. Everything on dark squares. The dark squares are our friend. Dark squares is our home. Hey, Void, what's up? Remember to keep everything in light squares? Yeah, exactly. I'm glad someone's actually listening to me. So this is like kind of a success because of how passive I've made their bishop. Calling it a success is a little bit of a stretch, not gonna lie. Wow, I can't even use my mouse. But it's like almost a success. I want this rook here. Give me just a second. I'm making progress. Time is the biggest issue right now, honestly. Positionally, I'm chilling. Yeah, see what I mean? He's kind of in Zugzwang. He doesn't have a good move. I'm pretty sure he's in Zugzwang. Which it's a stupidest Zugzwang I've ever seen in my life, but... See what I mean? See what I mean? Time, man. It's such a problem. That was such a stupid move. That was such a stupid move on my part. Oh my goodness gracious. We save these. He knows his king and pawn endgames, of course. Yeah, okay. Why'd you draw it? Because I'm stupid and I was low on time. Was it winning? Yeah, it was winning. I'm so dumb. Ugh. I was very much thinking about just not losing on time. This was absolutely drawn. Very basic. Why not king d5? When? Because I'm bad. I know there's a chapter on... Yeah, I'm making fun of me. Okay, one more. What's minimum wage? Okay, so here's the thing. Minimum wage is technically, what was it? Like 300 euros a month? Maybe a bit less? But here's the problem. That is non-representative because it is very common for people to be paid less than minimum wage, but their employer will basically say, hey, if you want to keep your job, I will pay you minimum wage, but take out this much of your wage in cash and bring it and give it back. That way you can still have a job. So, well, minimum wage, it's technically something, I think it was 300. Sorry, it's 282. It's 282. This is one of the reasons why minimum wage doesn't work. Yeah, that's more of a corruption problem, but, you know. Is it rated? Yes. What is that, every hour? How many hours are in the month approximately? So it's 40 hours a week, 4 weeks in a month. Yeah. So 40 hours a week, 4 weeks in a month. That would be 160 hours. So 282 divided by 160. 282 divided by 160. About a little less than €2 an hour. It was a free pawn. I'm just really splitting my attention, which means I'm not paying attention to anything. And that's for a male? Yeah. Oh. I couldn't tell if you were serious or not. Norway is such a how do I put this? A weird place for me economically that I don't even know what's true anymore. I don't know what to believe. How to acquire this magical riz I heard about from the potion seller. Told the potion seller that I need the strongest potions for battle, but he wouldn't sell me the strongest potions. You need to make it worth his time. I make about 23 euro an hour. Oh, that's a lot. I mean, that's a lot for Eastern Europe. It's not a lot for the Western Europe or the US. To be fair. To be fair. Yeah, Rexport's right. Jim, bro, how did you get a girlfriend again? Can you explain this? I'm confused. Can you use small words? Free pawn? Yeah, see, proper usage of that emoji. I love that emoji. It's such a good emoji. Free pawn, guys. What do I take with? Unironically. Also, ironically, if possible. I'm trying to justify takes with queen, but then, like, there's this weird bishop takes thing. Because I was going to play check, queen takes, rook takes. I guess that still wins this pawn, so I'm still up a pawn at the end of that line. Yeah. The biggest problem with minimum wage is the fact that it creates unnecessary unemployment. Eh. HG? HG is asking for death. I mean, this is also not amazing, but looks scary. Yeah. Next question. I rizzed her up with my skibbity riz. She will probably leave me and I will be sad again. Wow. Talk about manifesting the good things. Goodness gracious. A little positivity. GH and I have 3. Yeah, that's what I'm expecting. How does it create unnecessary unemployment? The argument goes that because you're artificially forcing employers to to pay more for their labor, then they're just not going to hire as many people, and because of that, there's fewer people going to be employed. So like people who are willing to make less money, for example, what's the word I'm looking for? Like high school students who want to like have their first job, right? They are willing to make less from their first job. It's not like that big of a deal. But if you force them to make more, then they're just not going to be hired. Yeah, but see, that's the thing. That's why I said, is because it's currently a bit controversial of an issue, whether or not that makes a difference, and if so, how big of a difference it makes. There are conflicting studies, but a lot of the studies do show that that's not exactly crazy. I have no idea why he took with the rook. I'm quite confused. Wait, what? I'm trying to think of how it's in Empire Voice. I'll get back to that. Generalized wages are a working condition created between three-part cooperation deal between worker unions, employers, unions, and the state. Is greater than general minimum wage. Maybe. Not high schoolers. Raising would only benefit them or something. Again, it's a controversial issue. It really is. Many way smarter economists than I are arguing about it as we speak, right? So I'm not going to pretend like I know more than they are. I'm second-year economics student. Hello, Vluppy. Play Store, my guy, I have an iPhone 8. That's a very weird position. I know Rook H1. I'm aware. I'm trying to think of what to do about it. Because, see, my gut response is to play this, but then I have to think about 95. I think I could just go here, though. I think that's right. Moist. I don't get why people don't like the word moist so much. It's just a word. Like, it's not that weird to me. Flip the board makes me play the chess game like this. Just bring back slavery easy? Yeah. I don't know why this confuses so many people. I'm getting mated. Ugh. Because look. Also, am I stupid? This was my move the entire time. This was my plan the entire... This is when the board flip messes with my head. Because I had rook takes g6, and that was my tactic the entire time. That was my entire plan, and I completely forgot about it because the board was flipped, so I got my moves mixed up. And so I took this one. Ridiculous. It depends on the movie. Where'd I get the movie suggestion from? Is it just like, did it just like come into my recommended? Or did I have a friend recommend it? That makes a huge difference. That makes a huge difference. I'll give you an example. Uncut Gems, okay? Thank you. I didn't finish Uncut Gems. Just mate rook f8? Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. I got mated, but this saved the position. Okay, well, start with the Q now. I never finished watching Uncut Gems. I started watching it, and I watched probably 45 minutes of it. I just didn't like it. It wasn't only that I was bored, I just actively disliked it. And so I stopped watching it. The only reason I watched Uncut Gems is because it's one of those movies that gets really good ratings on all the snob rating sites, you know, like Rotten Tomatoes and Metacritic and all that. So I wanted to give it a shot. I'm not going to download Snapchat in the middle of my stream, Jim Bro. I'm not that kind of influencer yet. So recommended randomly? I mean, boring, usually I'll wait it out. I'll only quit if I just don't like it. You know what I mean? Egg. If it's recommended by a friend, it's very rare that I'll turn it off. I can't think of the last time I turned off like a movie or show or anything that a friend recommended. I really can't. You are a TikToker. I have 2 TikToks posted. Yes. Any sort of 20 carries, keeping airbag ambiguity. Because it's fun. It adds to the meta. It adds to the meta ironic narrative. It makes perfect sense. Also, recent development, Rexbor. I Love You might be my favorite song from Skintifia at this point. Involuntary unemployment, defined as when an unemployed person is willing to take a job with the wages or working conditions that's offered in the market in an ordinary economical situation, because minimum wage creating less jobs means that the unemployed person aren't offered a job, and thus we have involuntary unemployment, if that makes sense. Yes. However, the thing is, and what Gon was actually saying, was that there have been a number of studies conducted that call into question how legit, how real of a factor involuntary unemployment is with a rational minimum wage, right? I'm not saying I love minimum wage. I'm just saying there are a number of studies that really make it unclear how big of a deal that is, how much of a difference it makes. Is Hatem still here? Can you cook? A little bit. I enjoy cooking, but I'm really slow at cooking, so I take a lot of time even to make something basic. Now, it ends up being good, but what's your chess.com name? Also, I'm sorry we waited so long. I get distracted, bless my heart. Can you make sweets? Yeah. Again, it just takes me a really long time. Sorry, there's another E in there. Oh, it's 2? Is it 2 E's or 3 E's? Okay, tell me if you receive this. This might not be you, because the spelling's a bit weird, but... What's your favorite? Oh. So, I've never made it, but my favorite might be creme brulee. I love me a good creme brulee. But that's a pain to make, so I've never really cooked it. Other than that, like, lemon poppy seed cake is probably one of my favorite things that I've made. I made a really good lemon poppy seed cake for my sister's birthday. A few years back. I think I Love You is still a good song, but Jack Down the Line or Roman Holiday, definitely not. I can respect that. I love the lyricism. I love the lyricism Jack Down the Line too, to be fair. Okay, so he did not receive the challenge, which means it is not him. Oh no, I found him. Yeah, you challenged me. I spelled your name wrong, my bad. Yeah, the thematic angle is wonderful. It's just good. Collective working agreements between worker unions, employer organizations, and the state is much better anyway. Norris slayed so hard when they did that instead of general minimum wage. I'm not saying I disagree with you, Norwegian. I'm just saying it is a very controversial issue amongst economists. This is true. Is that the Tunisian flag? Yes, it is. Or would it be Tunisian? Do you see the Discord I sent? Yes. Bro is shredded. Beyond belief. Pardon me for accidentally saying the wrong word on a live stream. I'm so sorry. Do you have a take on UBI? I think it's a very bad idea. I don't trust it. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't trust it. Oh, I didn't see the other photo. Ho ho ho. Wait, how do I know that's you? Maybe someone, if the photo's from very far away. It's photoshopped? What happened? What did I do that was so crazy? I don't understand. Usually, I'm only made fun of when I say something really stupid. Did I say something stupid that I forgot? Did I mispronounce something even worse? I'm legitimately a little bit worried. Try guessing. I have no idea. Legit. I'm very confused. I'm also tired. I sent you a photo of me? Oh, yeah, I know. Oh, another one. Oh. Based. You didn't just send a photo of me. You sent a photo of you. You sent a photo of you mogging. Don't know how I should interpret that. Can you now dox me? Yeah, but why would I? Why would I dox you now when I can wait until later when I can blackmail you? It doesn't make any sense. It's like trying to mug a baby. It's stupid. You don't mug a baby. You wait till he's grown up and has a job, and then you mug him. Doxing isn't illegal, and I dislike that fact. It's really hard to make doxing illegal, though. Like, legal definition for it's weird. But that being said, it should be legal. Just got dovetail mate. Yeah, dovetail mates are fantastic. There's so many beautiful checkmate patterns. Don't worry, fellas. I'll dox Akko in like 3 months. Don't worry, it's fine. What do you mean? Wait. I'm actually legit confused. How will you dox me? Is it like just take Algo's in Macedonia? You either harvest organs or sell beautiful, like the oil princess. Yeah, even then, it's still usually worth more a bit later. You just got a hidden memory unlocked from this employment talk when me and my mates ran a student company as part of this competition and made like 8 times the profit of second place running a service. But because it was an advertising thing, we didn't win because they thought it was boring. Oh, that's insane. Wait, what? Succeeding in business because you're doing the boring thing is like how you win at business. It's why tax lawyers make so much money. Nobody wants to be a tax lawyer, and everybody needs a tax lawyer. So it's infinite money glitch. Even if Alco gets doxxed, he lives in the most unknown and relevant place ever. Nobody's going to know how to geographically get there. Forget that. I know everybody within like a multiple 100-kilometer radius of me. Ah, this is true. You can tell me exactly where I'll be on the 12th of August, 2024 at 8 p.m. This is true. I'm actually going to be there shortly before 8 p.m., so. Kidnap the parents and blackmail a baby? See? Now we're talking. I'm so proud of this community. I will be there definitely before that. Yeah. I've never had the mosh pit concert experience because everyone I go to concerts with hates the mosh pit. And so, I'll be right back. I'm going to play some Bullet until you finish. Fair play. Some of you I know are also going, and we might meet up before. Oh, sick. Ow, I'm getting trampled. Ow. Benefits of being very large. Yeah, literally local. Literally. Yeah, but second place in Bravo's making like eco-friendly, epoxy resin, very green coasters out of bottle caps, which the judges thought was a good message. Honestly, I'm not going to lie to you. That is actually like kind of a fascinating microcosm of a lot of the problems facing modern economics. Like, unironically, is a fairly good example of some of the problems facing modern economics. Put explosives inside the World Trade Center and frame the 9/11 attacks. So you have a new reason to start a war in the Middle East. And you get more oil. Freedom. Definitely. How do you mean? Like taking a legitimate business, which I assume your business was legitimate, and making it harder or less rewarding for them to do business, while rewarding specific businesses. You know, it's a typical corrupt economy thing. And the eco-friendly stuff, you end up having a lot of problems there because when you have giant government agencies giving out a lot of money, it can be very easy to take advantage of that fact. Like, look at the whole Shell thing that just happened. That just happened, where they were like selling $1 bajillion of fake carbon credits. Give me a second. I just heard about this. Yeah. Yeah, Shell has been selling fake carbon credits for a kind of shocking period of time. Might have been unnecessary. So, why is she sad? Yeah, but if eco-friendly wasn't part of the objective, then it doesn't really matter one way or another. Rookie one? No, this. That is woman. I could tell. That's what I mean. It's the facade of being eco-friendly that ends up fooling people for long enough to get your bag and get out. Super interesting. E5 I want to play to get my knight in. Like, the knight on d6 is just an insanely good piece. C Void, like, that's a legitimate business. Okay, I should probably stop talking. Because, like, this knight is very annoying for him to deal with. I wouldn't say he can't deal with it, it's just very annoying too. If he takes, it's even better for me. A4? A4 is possible. Unless you're saying he'll play A4. A4 in my hand, my side is possible. I don't know how it helps too much because he's probably trying to play C5 anyway, and I don't know how that prevents C5. I mean, I guess it pushes him, so he has to... Yeah, I mean, I could see it. The only reason I didn't play A4 is because I don't see it contributing to my plans a ton. Because even if I get him to play B4, I don't know how incredibly helpful that is. You know what I mean? I mean, maybe the point of A4 is to play B4 so he doesn't have this, but then he just has it this way and doesn't really change things. See, we're only having the most intellectual discussions. Also, can I take this? Can I be a greedy son of a gun? Takes here, takes here. I probably can't. It's 2 pieces for the rook. It's probably not worth. I'm in a bit of an annoying position, not gonna lie to you. Yeah. And I think his knight is not as good as it looks. You know, I play something like this, and I think it's a bit illusory. Jim, are you trying to get my channel flagged? It's ridiculous. Just give it some time. Okay. This is wonderful. I'm sure chess.com is super happy with the state of their partnership with yours truly. This is fantastic. What have I done to deserve this? Don't answer that. But is never getting back on Just TV. Yeah, exactly. See, I'm not reading it out. Okay, nobody has to know. If I just shut my yap, then we'll be fine. The only problem is I'm not sure I've ever shut my yap once in my life. So, kind of a difficult thing to expect myself to do. F4? Maybe at some point. I just can always play it. It's always going to be an option. And so I want to wait until I have to, if that makes sense. There's no reason to rush F4. So I can just kind of sit on the position a little bit. Really? I didn't think this looked good for him. Okay, real talk. Can you slow it down a little, guys? We're pushing it a little much. It's a little much. Technically, I am responsible for what's said in chat. Now, that's a terms of service thing that they probably are never going to enforce. I don't want to be the test case. '94, '92. I'm still deciding. He wanted knight F4, so I don't want to give him knight F4. Never give your opponent what they want, you know? I mean, I'm obviously better, likely to the point of being winning, but finding exactly how to win this is shockingly annoying. Just a second, I've got a plan. The nice part is that I've got him pretty well tied down. He doesn't really have many moves to play. And he sacrifices the rook. Yeah, I don't use... I just use KDE. I also sometimes dabble in XFCE, but... if I need something lower performance. But generally, KDE is even pretty good on from a performance perspective nowadays. I started on GNOME or GNOME, but when I switched to KDE because it had better Wayland support and better variable refresh rate support out of the box, I ended up not going back because I quite like it. It does occasionally give me some problems, but it's still the best thing I've tried, or my favorite thing I've tried, I should say. GNOME better for laptops though? That's what I've heard. I've never used Linux on a laptop, so I don't know, but that is what I've heard. I'm trying to see if I can start streaming this summer for chess since I'm out of school when that time comes. I mean, go for it. Nice thing about streaming chess is the technical requirements are pretty low. GG's. Okay, let's see what happened. This was an interesting game. Probably see if I can beat World's Hardest Game on stream. Good idea. Again, things like that are nice. They're really easy to do. Really easy to set up. Wait, am I next? I have no idea. Type who? Okay, so let's start off. A6 is a completely reasonable line here. I don't know if you've studied any Catalan theory. A6 is one of the main lines. No, I don't think I did. Knight d5, however. Now, the issue here is here's like the argument that's happening in this line. Not counting people you already know IRL, how many streams or time did it take before you got your first consistent viewer? Viewers or viewer? Yeah. I'm going to slowly start timing him out for longer periods of time if he continues. Viewer either way. Well, Vluppy was here pretty early on, and it didn't take super long because, especially when I started, and I think it's still the case today, the playing with viewers tag is very handy because people search for it. And so it didn't take that long. It took a few weeks, month or two. So do it. Oh, okay. Then I did accidentally skip you. Whoopsie daisy. So one of the things in this position, in the Catalan in general, is the fight of this bishop versus this bishop, right? If you can solve that problem, then your position is totally fine. And so c6, you really only play if you're going to play either to support the pawn in the center and blunt my bishop, or to play b5. In this position, you can't play c6, b5. It's too slow. Because I have knight e5 immediately. You can play b5 immediately if you want. This is a very risky line, but you can do it. If I do that, you take on d6 with knight. c6, you mean? Yeah. So like b5 is a playable move in this line, and this line goes a little weird and difficult to play for both sides. So I'm not sure I recommend it, but it is something you can do. However, the problem is you should probably just play knight c6. Yeah, but you do it before I play knight e5. I haven't played knight e5 yet, right? Now if I play knight e5, you go, no, and you take my pawn, right? That's the thing. These tempi are important. Because by playing c6, now I have time to play knight e5. So let's say you play h6 in this position. It's the same problem. I play knight e5. And now you can't go knight c6. Now, the thing is, you can still go bishop not bishop d7. You can go... Yeah, now see, this is rough, right? Because that extra tempo means you can't develop your pieces naturally. You're not stuck, but you're uncomfortable. But in this position specifically, because of the way the tempi worked, you have time to play knight c6 first, which prevents knight e5. Right? Again, move orders get goofy silly in the Catalan. Like, uniquely crazy. Part of what makes it so hard. So again, you can play b5 immediately, or you can play knight c6 immediately here. Knight b d7 is also probably a move I don't like. Hello, Dezo. So, I would go knight c6 if I were you, just because simple. Because again, the question here is, as white, can I get this pawn back without sacrificing too much time? Should I go get cake? Depends on what kind of cake. Because like, if I go queen c2, try to take the pawn back, you could play b5. It's not immediately obvious how to win this pawn. He's definitely trolling Tin, but you know, at some point even the trolling gets to be a bit much. Right? And so this a6 line is risky and very dynamic. Strawberry shortcake. Yeah, I know what you're talking about, Jimbro. Strawberry shortcake. Yeah, but still, posting them in my Twitch chat is a little, without context especially, a little much. This line is risky because you're basically saying, okay, I'm going to open your bishop for you. You're opening my bishop for me. But your argument is, okay, how are you winning this pawn back? Because if you survive this bishop, then you're just a pawn up. You're simply a pawn up. Now, very hard to do that. Very difficult. Exactly. And that's the Catalan, or that's this line of the Catalan. Knight takes is also a move. But there's a lot of lines like that, where you try to hold the pawn, and if you hold it, you live. Like, c6, there are lines in c6 that have a similar sort of, this line has a similar sort of character. If you survive this bishop, you will be a pawn up. But unfortunately, that is a big if, because this is not an easy thing to survive. These positions get very difficult to play for both colors very quickly. Alco getting nightmares from our Catalan c6 games with 5 blunders per side. Yeah, no, these positions go insane. Because both sides have to play well or they just get destroyed. Because again, as white, if you play too slow, yeah, the subtitles are actually pretty impressive. They're not perfect, but they do a pretty good job. Right. Because as white, if you play slow in this position, you just are down a pawn for the entire game. First time I played it, you did an excellent job. That's why I'm explaining the ideas. And the point here isn't just to learn how the Catalan works. It's to learn how positions work. So if you see another position that's kind of similar, right? Then you could say, oh, this is like that Catalan thing. This is probably an idea I can play. And then you play the idea. You know what I mean? It's pattern recognition. So we're looking at this pattern and digging into it. That way, if we see something similar, we can apply this knowledge to that. That's part of the benefit of learning openings in chess, is not just knowing the theory, but also knowing what ideas exist. Because then in other random positions that are close-ish, you can still use those ideas. I have that happen all the time. I play an opening, I get into a position, I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm like, okay, this is kind of similar to this thing, and then I find an idea. It's not, maybe not the best one, but it's one. And so this position, it's... What's the defining moves of the Catalan? Is it kingside fiend cat after d4? Yes. And knight f3. Early knight f3. Yeah, but that you don't... That's why I'm not teaching him Catalan theory. I'm teaching him the ideas. Like, even one of the moves I gave over here was labeled as an inaccuracy. You know, like b5 in this position was labeled as inaccurate. Because the accurate part of it isn't relevant. I'm not caring... And I don't care about the best moves or the book moves. I care about ideas. And this is an idea. This is a thematic idea. But this isn't the only way to play the Catalan. This is one of the ways of playing the Catalan. There are multiple. Another way is going for a very, very early c5. Like, I think it's you take in this position and then you play c5 immediately. This is another way to play it. Immediately challenging white center. This one, you're not trying to hold on to the pawn as much. You're just trying to like slow down white's development and central control enough that you end up doing totally okay. This is another one of the big lines in the Catalan. Learning Angam is very important, but we'll get there when we get there. And these lines, I don't like these lines as much. I find them a little bit more boring, but they're also completely playable. I'm not that good at the Catalan. I'm not good enough to make a Catalan course. I'm just discussing some of the ideas. So, as black, you basically either take and hold on to the pawn or try and hold on to the pawn. There's multiple things. You take and try and hold on to the pawn. You play a fast c5. You take and ignore the pawn and just try to get good enough development and survive. So, like, you take and then you just play, like, knight c6. And then bishop e7. And then castles. And you're just basically saying, take your pawn back. I don't care. I just want to survive and get out of the opening and be okay. And then there's also the line where you just play slowly. And play it like sort of a semi-Slav. Right? And all of these have like weird move orders. And a ton of weird nuances. Like, for example, in this line where you play a semi-Slav, there's actually this check. And blocking with bishop, you move back to e7. And the argument is that this bishop is misplaced. And it's actually on a bad square. It's worse on d2 than it is on c1, which sounds stupid. But many lines of the Catalan, you just give up the pawn. And your compensation is this bishop. 80% of the time when you give the pawn, this bishop's the compensation. And that's what makes it so difficult for everybody, but especially lower elo players, is that your compensation, not even being development, not even being center, not even being pawn structure, just being a better piece that you have to long-term squeeze with is really hard. I think it's super fun. I mess it up constantly, but I love it because I think it's just such an interesting opening. Okay, see you, Jim, bro. Always a pleasure. I love it as a dynamic. And you have to be willing to like trade it off, you know, like switch it for a different advantage. But this line is weird because you go back and then castles. And what's weird about this is c6, queen c2, knight b d7. As white, if we go back and we play this line without the check, if we go out back and play this exact line without the check, as white, well, not right now, better, but I do from time to time. Then your next move is this, because you're playing for e4, right? This is the idea of the position. You play for e4 and really put some pressure on the center. And no matter which way that you take with knight, it's a whole thing. You're basically fighting to prove that this bishop is better than this bishop long term. Okay, so if we go back to the line after bishop check, you can't play knight bd2. The bishop's in the way, which is super annoying. That's the point. This line, you provoke white into making this bishop move so that they can't play the natural knight move. And so what normally happens is white plays bishop f4. And while this 90% of the time transposes into the normal Catalan positions, I had a game once where a player went like this and we're just in the main line again. Because it's my move and I just play knight bd2 here. It's actually one of my higher rated wins I've ever had, was when he played this. And so why a lot of the time this transposes into the main lines, black actually has this unique option to go f5 here. And kind of suddenly stonewall. And this is theory. Like, this is a completely reasonable way of playing this position. That depends on the time control local. I've beaten a few title players, but only in Rapid. I've beaten an FM in Classical. That's not true, but he was lower rated. And we basically transpose into a stonewall. Just a weird stonewall where the bishop's on e7 and the knight's on f5. It's a weird stonewall. Yeah, I've never lost to Magnus. So again, these lines get really nuanced and deep and difficult to play, but that's why I love them. Yeah, that's how the FMI beat was. He was like 1880, I think, 1900. So, in this position, the battle, like it is often in the Catalan, is this bishop. This bishop is really, really hard to develop for black. If black can develop this bishop, he's equalized. The position is equal. The question is just, how do you develop this bishop? And it's a really, and that question is the Catalan. The Catalan is, how do you develop this bishop? Because like, if you do something natural like bishop d7, then this is uncomfortable. You know, this is not a line I would want to play. Because you play bishop c6, I take, and now this bishop is now this bishop is like completely, has no opponent, and it's just the strongest piece on the board. Without question. Play queen a4, I win my pawn back. And you've given me the strongest piece on the board. Very not fun. And then knight c6, I could probably just take on c4. And you still haven't developed the bishop yet. You still haven't solved your problem. Because now you have to figure out somewhere to put the knight. And you can't just go like knight b8, because now the bishop's attacking b7. So now you have to move your rook first. Again, it gets real weird. But as white, you have to keep this pressure up. Because if you don't, then he develops his bishop and he's equalized. Night, Dezo. Appreciate you stopping by. Also, Charm Quark, thank you so much for the follow. I can't believe I missed that. Not bad. Anyway. So the problem with c6 is it doesn't help you develop the bishop, and it doesn't hold on to the pawn. So it doesn't do either of the main ideas. Oh. Yeah, good night. No, that's smart. That's smart. I got you. Enjoy the decay. Thanks so much for the follow. So you want to know how weird these positions are? I'm trying to remember what position it's in. It might be this one. It's not this one. What line is it? What line is it? It's in one of these a6 lines. Maybe it's an early a6. So it's like Catalan, but let me see if I can remember my theory here. It's been a while. It's in one of these lines, and it's really... It's not this one, I suppose. I don't remember which line it is. It's been a while. Maybe it's here? I think it's like bishop, knight c6. In one of these lines, you can play a7. rook a7, just to get the rook off the diagonal so you could play b5. That's a somewhat common idea. And that proves how difficult it is to play against this bishop. The fact that rook a7 is a completely reasonable move and is actually mainline theory in some of these lines is insane. I would say brave, void. But, I mean, that's, you know, probably not a very hot take. Again, this is actually a fine move for black in this position even. Because, again, that's how hard it is to get this, to solve your development here. Is that rook a7 is rational and totally okay. Because you're just trying to solve this problem. And see, that's why positional chess can make things that look difficult be easy. Did you just say thank you in Romania? I meant to say thank you, enjoy the decay, but I mumble something fierce. And when I mumble, the captions end up misinterpreting my speech. So, again, you might see a move like rook a7 and think, oh, I would never find that move in a million years. I would never even consider playing rook a7. But the way you are able to consider playing rook a7 is you think about what your plan is. What is the problem you have to solve? And once you realize that the problem is this bishop, rook a7 makes total sense. Because then you play b5, bishop b7, and you solve the problem. It's a non-standard solution, but it is a solution. So c6 doesn't really help, and also after knight e5, you can't even hold on to the pawn. So it kind of ends up being the worst of both worlds in a way. And then knight d5. Okay, so there's this principle, right? There's this chess principle. Actually, look at this. You can play b5 here. This just shows another example how crazy the Catalan is. b5 is a move, because if I try to take, you go queen b6. I don't actually have any discoveries. And basically, no matter what I play, you could just play like bishop b7 or rook a7. And I haven't really proved anything. Which is very silly. And so actually, my best move isn't even to take after b5. My best move is to play b3 and sack another pawn. And after this, I'm actually slightly better. Again, that's what I mean. These positions get so dynamic. Because yes, I win my pawn back, but my bishop is no longer strong. And so so you might think, oh, you win your pawn back, play it. But after this, my bishop doesn't have any threat anymore. It's been completely defanged. And so it's not worth it. It's better to sack another pawn and keep the bishop as a massive threat than it is to take a pawn and defang the bishop. And then knight d5, however, doesn't help a ton. There's this principle in chess, which I know I disobeyed in the Catalan, but the Catalan is goofy, where you need a very good reason in order to justify playing a second move with the same piece in the opening. Typically, in the opening, you want to move every piece once, and then you start moving pieces more than once. So, like, you play knight once, bishop once, knight once, or even, like, bishop once or something. Knight once, castle, and then you start thinking about moving the knight a second time. That's blasphemy! I don't know how good that was for a wizard voice. It was okay. Okay. So in general, this sort of thing isn't recommended because it just slows down your development. And that's kind of what happened. So I just took the pawn. And see now, as white, I'm celebrating. The computer calls me plus 1.5. Catalan. I am plus 1.5. It's almost plus 2 in this position. This position is bordering on winning. I didn't know that while I was playing. I didn't think this was bordering on winning. I knew I was better, but I didn't think I was bordering on winning.
It's the Catalan. This is what it does. Because, again, in the Catalan, I sack a pawn to get my bishop to be the strongest piece on the board. My bishop's the strongest piece on the board currently. I got my pawn back. Right? But my bishop is still the strongest piece on the board. So, I have solved the only problem in my position while keeping my main advantage. And it's amazing for me. This position is fantastic. Will I be able to capitalize on this against a strong player? Probably not, which is why the Catalan isn't recommended for anyone who's not like an NM. I do it anyway because I love it too much, but that's the positional nuance, right? Yeah, and bishop g5, somebody said that bishop g5 was unnecessary, and they were right. And so is this. And so even here, I lost some advantage. Okay, bishop takes. Hate this move. I hate this move. Why do I hate this move? Where does your knight go? Your poor knight. The poor pony. It's completely entombed. And so because your knight is entombed, you also can't move the rook anywhere other than the a7, which means my bishop's still very strong. So this bishop is still terrible. The bishop is not better here than it was here, and you've made your knight worse. Meanwhile, if you take with knight, now you can start considering moves like e5 or c5. You can't play them right now because my bishop is still a problem, but they're suddenly on the cards. So, like, if I do something slow, like if I play, like, I don't know, queen de2 or something, then you could play c5 and it's equal. You've solved your problems. Rook e1 in this position is the same thing. Rook e1, e5, and it's not a problem. And you're chilling. Maybe you can go, like, e5, d5 here. That might be an idea. But then white gets c4, and it's not clear. Maybe there is something here. Maybe there's an e5, d5. I don't hate for white either. There's an argument for sure. Then the question suddenly becomes, can I hold on to this pawn? Because if white can hold on to this pawn, then he wins. If he can't, then it's a draw. Both sides have play here. Because while this looks scary, f4 is super scary to play as a human, though, because this check looks terrible. Opening your dark squares up does not feel like the play. Like, I mean, come on. And then I play f6 and I take. Or, and if you take, I take with, I don't even know what I take with rook or something. This knight does a very good job blocking this pawn. White doesn't have an advantage here anymore. That's what I'm telling you. This bishop, once again, the critical idea. Black solves his bishop problem, equalized. So it's hard to play. I would still rather play white here, of course, but it's not trivial. My point is, this is an idea, and this knight here gives you these ideas that you wouldn't normally have. I mean, here e5 is probably better for that reason. Did you? We'll see. e5 is probably better here for that reason, just to not even allow any of those goofy tactics. And then d5, bishop b7. All right. And now I don't have much of an advantage here as white. I don't think so, at least. Rook c8 feels natural. Yeah, I mean, obviously I'd rather play white here, but... it's not that amazing. So again, knight d7, your knight is much better on the square, and your bishop gets to go to b7, which is where it wants to go. Additionally, so Remember what I said about learning openings and ideas and openings to be able to apply them in different positions? If you knew your Catalan ideas, which also this applies to like Queen's Gambit declined and Queen's Gambit accepted a lot, and even some Slav openings, you realize in these positions e5 and c5 are very often the plan. And so knight d7 is very natural because it helps you play both e5, it helps you play both e5 and c5, which are both moves you calculate like every move in this position. Because there's very natural. There's Slav ideas. There's like Queen Gambit accepted ideas. They're Catalan ideas. I mean, heck, you could even argue for them being like King's Indian ideas. Right? C5 is even like a Nimzo idea, like a Nimzo Indian. So like, again, by knowing these other openings, you can kind of get a better picture of what you should be thinking about in this position. What direction. It won't tell you the right move, because it won't tell you which one of these is correct, but it gets you the direction. Carol Khan! I mean, it's fine. So knight d7 is far more natural. Bishop takes, and after e5, all of your pieces are really tied down in a very uncomfortable way. So knight takes b5 was the move. I knew this was a coward's move. Because you had knight f4 immediately. Yeah. But in this position, it's very, very hard to find a move to play for black. Probably rook a8. Check 94. When? Yeah, and this earlier was better. This was a better approach. It was faster. Queen e2 was optimistic. Why am I watching ads in North Macedonian language? Because obviously only Macedonians would watch my stream. So congratulations, you're a Macedonian. Thank you, Andorek, for the follow. .94? Okay, what's the idea of knight a4? Not Macedonian? Sounds cap. Rook c2, knight d2. Oh, you're just trying to trap the rook? I mean, it might work. I don't like it. I disagree with this. Knight f4, xf4. After knight e4, you mean? So knight e4, knight f4, knight x. So knight e4, knight f4, xf4, rook g3. Rook 5, c2. Oh, I hate that. I mean, this is still very good because you have the G file. I know, not here. I'm just saying. So knight f4 might be a good move, but not because of winning the rook. Winning the rook is the least of my problems, or the least of my concerns. The rook being weak is a advantage white has in this position. I don't think it's the biggest one. The biggest advantage white has is the fact that black's pieces are all doing nothing. Even this rook's not doing anything. Black is insanely, hilariously passive. Black doesn't have a single good piece. He only has slightly less bad pieces. And so, as white here, I wasn't even considering trying to win the rook, because why would I trade one of my good pieces for one of his bad pieces? Doesn't make sense. No, I would say it's pretty easy to play for white once you realize that black doesn't have a plan. Because as white, you have all the time in the world to do whatever the heck you want. Black doesn't have a way of doing anything. What's black's plan? The only thing that makes some sense is doing this. So that might be good. So after rook c2, let's say he plays rook a8. Rook f8. Why even this? What does this accomplish? Hot take, things going to crush Gukesh? I don't think so. I'm not saying Gukesh will definitely win, but I don't think it'll be that cut and dry. I could play something funny and like, what does it do? Again, black doesn't have a plan. Yeah, I'm cheering for Gukesh as well. Black doesn't have a plan. Let's move. Oh, that's the last queen g5. Yeah, so h4 to prevent queen g5, which is a hilarious move. And what? Forget plan. Like, black doesn't have a move. What do you play here? So why would I win this rook? It's not doing anything. It's harmless. Gukesh is pretty strong. I don't know, man. Isn't Ding washed? Who knows? I'd have to imagine there's be some consequence for having for being so out of practice. So yeah, Hatem. I'd say you played very well. These are just really complicated positions. You saw even I made a few mistakes. And so I hope you learned something. That's the goal. And then time at the end really put some pressure on you. Antients. Yeah. I could be, but nah, I don't think 2800 is that strong. I mean, I could be at 2900 if I wanted to. I just don't really want to. I feel like it'd be a bit showy, you know? Is your name Fish is whatever? Oh, no, you're Tin. Oh, wait, you're not. Oh, no, Tin's turn, not Antien's turn. I'm sorry, I forgot. Yeah, I accidentally skipped Tin. No, that's me. Okay, Andirect, it's not your turn currently, unfortunately. Gone, you can't join because you're already in the queue. I don't have a way of doing it. Ding was sick, and he has much pressure on his shoulders. I'm not... Okay, this might be a little tinfoil hat of me. So I might be a little bit off my rocker. However, I'm not sure I buy the whole sick thing. At least not for as long as it was the case. Because he did nothing for the entirety of his world championship, for his title. Which, I'm not saying it's his fault. Don't get me wrong. I don't think it was his fault. Oh, here we go. Why did I just talk about the Catalan theory? Now I have to deal with someone actually playing Catalan theory. Oh, I'm doing shooting myself in the foot. I like Ding a lot as a chess player. I think it's... I don't know. If I had to guess, I would say it's something Chinese government related. You played yourself? I did. But it's fine. I'm not the most confident in this position. Oh, I forgot you were Croat. Congrats on Baby Lasagna. You really did win in the hearts and minds of the people. Baby Lasagna deserved it, but you know, he absolutely did. He got the majority of the people's vote. I'll have you know, I did my part. I voted for Baby Lasagna. Oh, I forgot. You're an American, aren't you, Void? Poor guy. Eurovision just ended like 2 days ago, and Croatia's entrant, Moroccan. Oh, see, I forget where everyone's from. I have American geography in my brain, so I assume it's just America and Europe, and that nowhere else exists. Either way, the point is Eurovision is like a continent-wide song contest thing that happens every year across Europe, and it just finished like 2 days ago. Oh no, yeah, 2 days ago, Saturday night. Why does Eurovision have Israel? I have no idea. It's just a thing. We've all collectively decided that, okay, we don't care. Anyway, and so Croatia's entrant for Eurovision was Baby Lasagna. That was the name of the artist. It was Baby Lasagna. Australia is a very recent addition, and it's kind of dumb. Israel's pushing it. Australia, I have no idea what they were cooking. No clue what they were cooking with that one. Either way, not the point. Eurovision's a complete disaster every year. That's part of why it's so much fun to watch. But that's not the point. Do you know about Eurovision? I just don't follow it. Okay, well, in that case, I'll let you in on the tea. Croatia was the favorite to win this year, and had the fan favorite song. Hello, Ioxu. And had the vast majority of the popular vote. However, because Switzerland has been going through like a color revolution, I think that's what it was. I'm pretty sure it's because Switzerland was going through a color revolution. They got an insane amount of the jury votes, which are the votes that the countries themselves do. Like the governments assign juries to vote for their Eurovision songs. And so the jury votes all went to Switzerland. And so even though Switzerland got significantly fewer public votes than Croatia did, Switzerland won anyway. Which I like the Swiss song this year. I really did, but it shouldn't have won. And so it was a huge like frustration point, pain point. So biased jury, absolutely biased jury. The jury is biased every year. That's a Eurovision special. That's part of the Eurovision experience, is being mad at the juries. Because every year it happens. Because the way it works is half of the points for the victor, half of the points come from the country's juries, and half the points come from popular vote. So Croatia won the popular vote by a significant margin, like it wasn't close, but they didn't win the jury vote, and the jury vote was like so insanely in favor of Switzerland that they managed to overcome even the crazy popular vote that Croatia got. And so people are upset. It happens like every year, so I don't know why we're surprised anymore, but it did happen. Gone. I've got bad news. The UK has never had a good song in Eurovision in the, what is it, 8 years I've watched it. Roses are red, violets are blue. Magnus won the super bet again. Yeah. At some point, we're going to stop being surprised. Spaceman song's pretty good. I found it very boring. I didn't like it. My little brother really liked it quite a lot, but I didn't care for it. So like you truly appreciate the opportunity to engage in meaningful conversation, exchanging thoughts, ideas, and perhaps even learning a thing or two from each other. I eagerly await your response. Armenia this year? Yes, Armenia was very good this year. I also really liked Estonia. Estonia was just fun. It was just a good time. Did you just copy my bio? It's so rude. It's plagiarism. Ridiculous. If you wanted to convince someone to visit Estonia, what would you say? Well, I've never been to Estonia, so I can't really say anything. Elara, thanks so much for the follow. Ioxu, can you stop spamming, please? Thank you. Okay, GG's. Alka, do you know if there's any problem with using AUR helpers? Well, I use Yay constantly. So the helpers themselves don't cause any problems. The problems come with the actual AUR packages themselves. Because they all use their own, they not all use their own libraries, but you can run into library conflicts. So I wouldn't go too crazy with AUR packages, especially for like system necessary stuff. Now that being said, I do have Mesa I do have the Mesa Git as my graphics drivers because they get better features and better performance in my experience, and better support. But you just have to be a little careful with it and always know that you could break something. For example, the Mesa Git drivers at one point broke Plasma 6 for like 3 days, and so I had to go into terminal from the SSDM login page and switch back to the normal drivers. Well, this is a stupid tweet. I mean, it's Elon Musk. I don't know what I expected. Again, it's just you have to practice restraint, which I'm not very good at doing. But just know, you're never going to be as stable as Debian. Also, is it just vanilla Arch, or did you use like an installer, or is it like Endeavor OS or something goofy like that? Arch install script because I literally couldn't be bothered. Fair enough. Most of the time he says stuff he doesn't fully understand. Yeah. It's really a shame. Because a lot of the stuff he was doing was really interesting. Like the Solar City stuff is super cool. I still love that as a concept. But, I don't know. It ended up not being about that. Now he's just tweeting about chess drama. Like, come on. Seriously. And talking about how chess was too boring for him. And so he played, like, what was it, like Polytopia or something? I think it was Polytopia that he said he played instead of chess because chess was too easy and too boring or something like that. Like, say you don't like chess. I don't have a problem with that. It's not for everyone. But, like, come on. Did Elon just randomly turn into a grifter, or has he always been evil and stupid? Different people give you different answers. I'm of the opinion that he gave up. That's not a very popular opinion. Most people disagree with me. However, I'm of the opinion that at one point he was trying legitimately to, like, push things forward, but I think he gave up. That's my opinion. Sounds amazing, Void. I can't wait. A lot of people do think he was a grifter from the start. And it is true that from the start he always had a problem with taking credit for some things that he probably shouldn't be taking credit for. But I don't know. So funny that's a move. That's hilarious. 94, I see it. It's a common sort of thing. 94 tactics in the Sicilian go hard. I'm going to close the queue a little early tonight because I'm exhausted, because the past 2 nights I haven't slept at all, and so I really need to catch up on my sleep. Everyone already in the queue will still get your turn, just no one new can join the queue. Still no 94? Okay. No, come on, 94 now is easy. Like, before I get it, but now, come on. Okay, typical. Aren't you only supposed to do this after you've castled? Yeah, you should probably go do that, Void. I almost feel bad for Elon. Honestly. Not quite, but almost. I actually, you know who I actually feel bad for? I feel bad for the people who bought into the message. It's French, there's literally no point studying. Because you're going to ace it, or because you're going to die? It's just English, not really worrying? Okay, that's good. In what context? Because I've had, like, basic English classes in my college, which are hilariously easy. Not just because I'm a native English speaker, but just in general, they're fairly simple. But you can also have difficult English courses. So is it like formal something, or creative writing, or something that's like would be really annoying, or is it just like, you know, basic stuff? Hi, I like go to store, cheese. You know what I mean? This is a very bad position for you, Void. I'm not sure this is exactly how you're supposed to play the Najdorf. Oh, and then I'm actually rather sure this is not how you're supposed to play the Najdorf. Where is this knight going? It's gone on a magical journey for real. Just teaching people basic English? Okay, then you should be okay. I would expect. To be fair, I don't know how your spoken English is, but if it's in any way similar to your written English, you should be fine. Oh no. Oh no. He let it be him. Oh my gosh, Becky. That's hilarious. Talk about going on a magical journey. That's hilarious. I do speak it properly. I'm just lazy to write proper English in chat. Well, I know. Nobody writes proper English. It's Twitch chat, my guy. This is so funny. You take the king on a tour around the board. It's such a fun tactic. Such a classic. And this is a really fun example of it. This is what I mean when I say tenacity gains you a ton of elo, because going for these tactics is hilarious. Made friends with the king. I was being a buddy. They was going on a stroll. They were going on a walk. It's hilarious. Your turn, gone. Opponent's probably so mad. Yeah. In those positions, you just get mentally disintegrated. Okay, is this the bullet game you said you want me to analyze? This is. Okay. Here we go. Yeah, absolutely. There's a story behind it? Okay, tell me the story. I want to hear it. Talk to me. See the game first? Okay. Sure thing. D4, C6, knight D3, not knight D3, queen D3, D5, queen G6, H takes G6, bishop H6, G takes H6, knight AC3, knight F6, knight E4, knight XE4, knight F3. Okay. Nice. So what's the story here? Twice in pool. Okay, and both times I dirty flagged him. Okay. It's bullet. I mean, you play it to bullet dirty flag people. Come on. Think I genuinely gave them trauma? It's bullet. I don't understand. That's like that's like going to a skate rink and being offended that you hear 90s music or something. I started playing bullet frequently and I'm almost 1500. I was around 1100. It took 3 days to get used to it. It took some time, yeah. I've gotten a bit better at bullet. I spent a bit more time on it, but I've definitely gotten better at playing faster. Which is a low bar because I used to be really, really bad at it. Maybe, but it's bullet. There's no such thing as a dirty flag in bullet. There just isn't. In no increment bullet, there's no such thing as a dirty flag. In no increment blitz, there is. Yes. In no increment bullet, absolutely not. I'm telling you. It's bullet. It's just played for glags. It definitely is played only for glags. Cheers to the analysis. That game really had me stumped as to what I was doing wrong. Yeah. Honestly, I think in this position, your blunder was to take the queen. The best move, I'm pretty sure, is F6 here. That's a very high-level engine prep, though, so I understand why you didn't find it. But I think this is one of those positions that's, like, pretty well solved, you know? You know what I mean? I mean, just good to know for next time. English has left the chat. We'll let them leave. Okay, I'll listen to that song and then I'll leave. But see, guys, now I'm back and now my stream works again. So, funny story. So, oh, gone. Did you read my messages in my Discord about what I did wrong with my Debian install? Because my streaming PC is on Debian. My main rig is on Arch, but my streaming PC is Debian. If you didn't, I don't care. I just didn't know if I should tell you, if I can tell you, or if you've already read it. Not on the Discord, 1 second. You don't have to. It's really simple. It's just like one thing. I just didn't want to tell you something you already knew because I felt like it'd be boring. I mean, feel free to join Discord if you want to. I'm just saying. It's not that big a deal. So, I've been using Arch. Not Arch. Debian was the second ever distro I used. I used Ubuntu for like 3 weeks, hated its guts, and moved to Debian. And just straight up vanilla Debian, because I'm based. And it took me forever to figure out how it works, because that was my first ever Linux experience based effectively. I installed Ubuntu, did like 2 things in it, and then I went straight to Debian. Terrible idea, but very funny. And so I've been using Debian for a good long while, and I have multiple machines currently. I have 2 machines that are currently on, like turned on, running Debian, and then I have a secondary boot drive that's Debian on my main machine. So I use Debian a lot, and I have used Debian a lot for a long time. However, I've always had some problems where I would accidentally mess up my Debian installs, especially if when I was first setting them up. And recently I had some really big problems with my Debian installs, right? Which is weird because I know that Debian's stable, and I know that I'm the problem, but I didn't know what the problem was. So I ended up getting to the point where I didn't know how to salvage it, so I completely reinstalled Debian on my stream PC and replaced everything. It took forever. That's why I had my stream messed up for so long. And even then, I messed up the reinstall. Okay? I'm like, this is stupid. What am I doing wrong here? Because I have to be on unstable, because Debian stable doesn't support encoding on my GPU, because it's experimental hardware, right? It's the Intel Arc graphics, right? My guy, listen. I have to. Either that or I have to recompile graphics drivers, OBS, FFmpeg, Intel Media Driver, the Arch, the Linux kernel itself. Why not just use Arch at that point? Because Debian is unstable, is still more stable than Arch. Debian unstable is still hilariously stable. It's unstable relative to Debian stable, which Debian stable will never break. So Debian unstable is like a bug every 3 months. You know what I mean? And plus, Debian, if you set up Debian and you never update it again, it will always work, and it will never stop working. Arch doesn't do that the same way Debian does. I'm not exactly sure why, but Arch needs to update more. I'm not sure why, but you need to update your Arch install. Debian, you don't need to update. I can just keep my stream PC on whatever version it's on and just leave it there, and it will always work as long as I just don't change stuff. And that's very useful for not my main PC. Anyway, that's not the point. So the point is, I was really messing it up, and I spent hours on this. I spent hours browsing forums, like everything I could to try to figure out what the heck was going wrong. Turns out, this is going to be very stupid. Turns out that apt upgrade isn't what you use to upgrade your install. You should use full upgrade. Good night, Void. And using upgrade doesn't remove other packages, doesn't remove older packages, so you end up with a bunch of conflicting packages, which is liable to break everything, which it did. And so I found that out because someone mentioned it, Nightwood, someone mentioned it in passing at a Reddit thread somewhere. And I was like, huh, maybe that's the issue. I did full upgrade instead of upgrade. It fixed all of the problems. I spent like 3 weeks dealing with this. And it was because I was thinking using apt upgrade instead of full upgrade because I didn't know full upgrade existed. I've been using Debian for almost 2 years. I don't know how I do this to myself. I always do this. I miss the most obvious base level thing, and then everything crumbles because this is the most basic things. My guy, I've spent time in Debian recompiling the Linux kernel because when I first got this GPU, my Arc GPU, it wasn't supported in the mainline kernel yet. It was only supported in release candidate kernels. So I needed to compile my own kernels, and I had to set a manual flag in them because you needed a flag for experimental Intel hardware. So I had to recompile my kernel, and so I figured out how to do that first thing I did in Linux. But I didn't know that full upgrade was a thing. And so I broke in like 3 different Debian installs. That's just that's a microcosm of my relationship with technology. On the plus side, now I know. Because see, here's the problem. I've just been learning Linux in general, but especially Debian at the start, by hacking things together and like figuring it out as I go along. And so I never read like the apt documentation. And so no one ever mentions the difference between apt upgrade and apt full upgrade because it's such a basic thing that everyone should know it, you know? It's like, I don't even know what the comparison would be. It's like knowing, I don't even know like what comparison you would use for this, about how basic this is. It's like knowing how to turn on the lights in your car, like the floodlights, you know? And so I'm out here drifting on the racetrack, but am duct taping a flashlight to the front of my car because I have no idea how to turn the lights on. So that's my Debian experience. Debian's been great. I love it. At some point I might go back to it for March, but I just am addicted to the AUR. But yes, so I've learned the difference between apt upgrade and apt full upgrade, and never making that mistake again. And it fixed all my problems. I still did a full reinstall because I'd already reinstalled the... Do I do yay dash SYU? I know yay S is the default. I don't remember what S and U do. I always forget these things. Yeah, okay. Y just refreshes the packages. Yeah, okay. I know it shouldn't make a difference. I don't think so. I mean, you could just type yay. That's the thing. Yay SYU is the default. Like, if you just type yay and enter without any arguments, it'll do yay SYU. So I actually rarely even type in yay SYU because I just type in yay. Now, remember, you're asking the guy who didn't know that apt full upgrade was a thing until like 2 days ago. So just take to everything with a grain of salt. Everything with a grain of salt. Can't lie, I'd recommend vanilla Debian. Now the installer is good and Flatpak has come to be completely usable to people new to Linux. calling the Debian installer good is a stretch. It's not amazing, the Debian installer. Also, have they changed the installer? Because I just installed Debian like 2 days ago, and the installer was the same as I remember it being. Like 2 years ago. But Flatpak being good is huge. You're absolutely correct. Again, on my stream PC, everything is a Flatpak except my chatbot application because it doesn't have a Flatpak. And that's it. OBS, the captions software, the music software, my Stream Deck, my Stream Deck adapter software, my the software I use to sync some files between my devices, all Flatpaks. Because again, when I used Debian 2 years ago, none of the Flatpaks supported really played nice with my GPU, so I haven't used Flatpaks at all until recently. But Flatpaks have gotten really good, especially on like fairly well established hardware. You know, something that's not like super bleeding edge. See, that's the exact problem I'm at, Gone. Like I keep thinking, I should go back to Debian stable. It's so much more stable. But then I look and see how many AUR packages I have installed and how much random hackery I have going on. Cause stuff like random, like the budgeting app I use, it has an AUR installer, but it doesn't have, I'm pretty sure it doesn't have a Flatpak or like anything else, so it has a deb though, so I could probably install it that way. Honestly, I just like it's not Debian's fault, I'm just stupid. It's not Debian's fault. Debian stable is fantastic. Because here's the thing, like I said, Debian, if you don't update it, will never break. It just won't. When I started with Linux, I was trying to figure out how to compile my kernel and install it, and add a flag to enable experimental Intel hardware to get my GPU to work, right? Which, as someone who had never used Linux before, was a mess. It took me multiple weeks. But at one point, because I was dumb, I accidentally deleted Python from my Debian install, which went just about as well as you would expect it to. When I rebooted, I no longer had a desktop environment. Which, before the reboot, I couldn't even tell that anything was wrong. Because and so I rebooted and had no desktop environment. So I was like, oh snap, I reinstalled Python, rebooted again, and everything was exactly how I left it. Nothing broke, and it just kept working. I tortured that Debian install. I'm glad I didn't know anyone who used Linux at the time, because I probably would have been like assassinated in my sleep for what I did to that poor Debian install. Have you used an immutable distro before? Nah. I'm way too much of a feature monkey for that. Like, even Debian, you can tinker and do your own stuff, you know? But I would not, I don't know. I get the idea, but I don't benefit any from the benefits. Like, the config file that you can move is nice, but if you're going to back up your files, then just back up your files. The config file doesn't help that much. And I mean, I guess the sandboxing is good for security, but security on Linux, especially with Wayland these days, is already pretty good. Having packages from a bunch of different distros, especially like what NixOS does, is kind of nice. But like Arch already has everything. That's kind of like the point of Arch. So you can do whatever the heck you want, but also the downside is you can do whatever the heck you want. So I mean, there are use cases where it's very useful. It's just not my use case. Like maybe, honestly, for my stream PC, a immutable distro could make some sense. It really could, because then I would have this config file that I can just throw on a different PC and have the same stream setup pretty much. Get new shiny gnome while still being completely stable. Yeah, I don't trust that. Isn't because then the new shiny gnome itself isn't stable, or isn't the standard of stable that you would get from like a Debian or something. Again, it's just there are use cases where it makes sense, but does the use case justify me learning a new distro? Because I already know Debian and I know Arch. I've never used Fedora. That's like the big one I'm missing. I'd have to use Fedora though. Yeah, I've never touched Fedora. So that's what I mean. There are use cases for it, but anything I can do on that, I can also do on either Arch or Debian, depending on what I want from it. And so, I'd just rather use Arch or Debian. I get it. It makes sense that it exists, but at this point, again, just not a huge reason not use Arch or Debian. Again, my stream PC would be Debian stable if it supported my my GPU. So probably in like 6 months, a year or something, I'll change it. I'll reinstall and make it stable instead of running unstable. But for now, I have to keep it on unstable in order to get good hardware encoding support. Which is important because that's like literally the purpose of the PC is to be able to stream stuff. And so the hardware encoding is also the reason I have this GPU. Is because hardware AV1 encoding is huge. And so I kind of need my computer to support the hardware AV1. Now, given I don't use my hardware AV1 encoding a ton nowadays, because Twitch doesn't support it yet, but yeah, I gotta go as well. Either way, pleasure chatting. I think I'll raid Oiristos. He's in Greece, so he's right to the south of me. It was good fun. The neighbor. Night, y'all.